This morning, we're going to take a live look at the Mob Museum, and by Wednesday of this week, you are going to be able to check out a major artifact that is going to be on almost a permanent loan situation over at the museum. It's this. It is one of the Tommy guns used in the St. Valentine's Day Massacre from back in the 20s. And as we now have Jeff Schumacher joining us live to talk about this historic edition, he's the vice president of exhibits and programs over at the museum. So Jeff, thank you for being here, but this is one of those moments in history that people still have so many questions about. And now, where is this gun coming from? And talk to me about what people will be able to see on Wednesday.
Right. Well, this is a big deal for us. We have had this Thompson submachine gun on display very briefly in the past. The Berrien County, Michigan Sheriff's Department is the owner of this Tommy gun, and they would come out from for our anniversaries, typically in February, and they would show it for one day. Well, we've now finally convinced them that the best thing to do is to have this on essentially permanent display here at the museum. So we're very excited for it to debut and for it to be part of our now to be part of our exhibits.
And so, Jeff, I don't want to take for granted that everyone knows this event in history. So let's fill in some of the details. It is Chicago. It is back in the day from when they had the mob essentially running not just that city, but a lot of other major American cities. And to my knowledge, at first they kind of were pointing the finger at Al Capone. He had an alibi that was pretty tight as far as I think he was hanging out with law enforcement in Florida or something like that. Did they ever find out who is responsible for gunning down these mobsters in Chicago?
Yeah, so the first to note is that it was really a battle, they believe, between rival gangs. In other words, rival bootlegging gangs. This was at the height of Prohibition, and it was in Chicago, which was one of the epicenters of bootlegging at that time. And the belief is that it was members of Al Capone's gang or people hired by Al Capone who took out what was known as the North Side Gang, so members of Bugs Moran's gang. And 7 men were lined up against a brick wall and they were shot dead. And one of the weapons used in that crime was this Thompson submachine gun that we're going to have on display.
And you also have a portion of the wall in question, too, on display
Yes.
over at the Mob Museum. And one of the interesting elements with this, correct me if I'm wrong, weren't the people responsible for this crime dressed as police officers
Yes.
at the time? And so that also ended up getting a lot of attention. I love being able to share the good guy deal, as our late Tom Hawley used to always say here on the program. And that is on February 14th. Isn't it every year that you guys open up the museum to Nevada residents free of charge?
That's right. Every February 14th, so Valentine's Day, we open it up for free admission for Nevada residents. And we also do that on Kefauver, what we call Kefauver Day, which is November 15th every year. And Kefauver Day is tied to the Kefauver Committee hearing that was held in our courtroom back in 1950. So we do that twice a year, but one of them is always tied to the dark moment, St. Valentine's Day Massacre, combined with a much nicer moment, Valentine's Day.
Well, and also when you talk about the Kefauver hearings, wasn't it that very building that is now the Mob Museum, since it used to be our federal courthouse back in the day? So history really coming together in such a unique and compelling way that we can all be able to take a stroll through and learn something. Jeff, thank you. Appreciate it. And Wednesday is going to be a big day. Good luck to you. And I have a feeling a lot of people who are listening to us now will be making a beeline to check it out in person. Jeff Schumacher.
Thank you very much.
Yes, with the Mob Museum. Thank you.